Hi there, welcome to Floating in Books. Welcome to my best spring reads. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. In this video, I will be chatting with you about some books that I hope to be reading for spring. This is sort of like a TBR, but not quite, because I also sort of pick books that I think go with the vibe of the season when I do a video like this. So it's not necessarily a strict TBR, but there are some books on the list that I would like to get to in the next 2 to 3 months or so. I'm currently still in the midst of this big guy. So you saw me picking this up in my most recent spring break vlog. I've been trying to read this book for the past 6 weeks. I was doing so well in January, and I was going through book after book after book, and then there was a bit of a setback, and I'm just stuck in this one. It's not that I don't enjoy it, but it took me a long time to sort of start to enjoy the book. It took like the first 200 pages or so, and for the most part, I've just been too tired or too stressed to really be having the brain space to be doing a lot of reading. So that's why this one, we're still in the midst of it. I'm halfway through. You know, we're past the halfway mark. I'm gonna finish it, but until I finish it, I know my head cannot deal with going into any other books. So that's why it's been really slow going. I haven't been able to do another wrap up for you yet, which is really what I thought, because I was on a roll, but then this was so slow to get started that I kind of like fell behind on the reading goal a little bit. But I know I read in waves. Sometimes I really have a very strong reading wave and it's fine. And this one is just slowing me down a little bit, which is no big deal. But yeah, I'm still in the midst of this. So I don't know how many of these I'll get to because of this big guy, but I feel okay. So I already know what my next read is going to be when I do finish my Sarah J. Maas book, and this is this one. It's Jessica Knoll's Bright Young Women. I've heard so many people raving about this, saying how good it is. It's really nice and vibrant in the cover, so that really drew my attention. And this is about, I think it's about like a murder that happened in the past, but then things start to unravel in the now. I believe it's one of those books. It's apparently really good. It's like a lit fic kind of thing. So this is one that I'm looking forward to reading, because after reading 750 pages of pure like urban fantasy, I know my brain needs a reset, and I think this is going to be the thing that will reset my brain. I think one of the most spring appropriate series that is currently on the market is the Emily Wilde's trilogy. This is the first one in the series. I haven't read these yet, but they seem really good. I already spotted the third book in the bookstore the other day. It's by the author Heather Fawcett. And this is about a lady who researches fairies, and she like lives among them. And I think she's neurodivergent as well. She's not really good at people, but she's really good with fairies. That's sort of the idea here. And I think the premise of the first book is that she tries to catalog all the different fairies there are, I believe. And I don't know why, but to me this just feels like whimsical fairies, spring. And that's why I feel that this could be a good read. A book I really need to get to at some point this year is the second book in the Poppy War trilogy. So this is by R.F. Kuang. I read the Poppy War last year. I didn't really get the hype. I didn't enjoy it as much as most other people did. So that's why I'm a bit apprehensive to start the second book in the series. But this is the Dragon Republic. I hope it's going to be better than the first one. That's all I can say about this one. But yeah, I do want to finish the series at some point this year. So if I can read like one in the springtime and then maybe the third book later this year. I do feel with the Poppy War trilogy that for me it's really helpful to leave a bit of space between the books to sort of reset and read some other things in between and not reading them back to back. That's just the way I feel about this. But yeah, this is another chunky one, so I definitely would like to be able to catch up with my reading goal first before I dive into this one. And then another series that I've had sitting on my shelf for such a long time that I really feel I should just continue, and it's Marie Brennan's The History of Dragons. That's what the first book is called, and that was really fun. I remember liking it a lot. They're not big books, but don't be fooled, because the typeset is pretty small, and these are written as diary entries. So they're not like laced with a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue, which usually speeds up your reading pace a lot. They're quite descriptive, And they're also written by a lady in like a 19th century setting where dragons are studied like we study animals. And she, the lady who writes these diaries, our main protagonist, is a scientist who investigates these dragons. So it's a very sort of scientific approach to writing things down as well. So if that's not what you like, you may not like it. But it's sort of like historical fiction meets fantasy. I quite enjoyed the first one, and the Tropic of Serpents, I love the covers of these, is something that I would like to get to. There are like 8 or 9 books in this series. I only have the first 3 because I was like, I need to first read these ones before I start buying the rest. But yeah, love the covers of these, and they are pretty fun. I think that especially in the springtime, I like to read more like lit-fic-y kind of things rather than like fantasy things. So that's why I would like to get to this. This is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jaclyn Hartmann. I've heard great things about this book as well. It's apparently pretty dark. I believe it's about a group of women who are stuck underground and nobody knows how long they've been there or what they're even doing there, but they're held captive. And I think one of them escapes and like helps the other ones. That's sort of what I've heard. But this won quite a lot of prizes last year or the year before that. And then this won the Booker Prize in 2024. It's by Jenny Erpenbeck, Kairos. This is originally a German novel that was translated into English. And this is, I believe, about East Germany, like that sort of setting. I think in the 80s. Yes, so Berlin in 86, so before the wall falls. And it's about like life in East Germany at the time, I believe. So I've again heard great things about it, and I think I would like to read this one as well. Bought in the fall time, still haven't gotten around to it, so I feel it's time to get stuck into Sally Rooney's latest novel, Intermezzo, or Intermezzo, I never know how to say this. I like Sally Rooney as an author. I've enjoyed most of her books. My favorite is still her first one, Conversation with Friends. I don't think she'll ever top that one for me. But whenever she releases a new novel, I want to read it. And I think the springtime is as good a time as any of them. So this is definitely on my TBR. There's just a couple of books that have been sitting on my shelf for a while. I'm not entirely sure if they are like spring appropriate, but I don't know why. They sound like something I might enjoy at this time of the year. So it's this novel by Nick Setchfield, The Spider Dance. I believe this is a first book in a like series about the Cold War. So a bit of like historical fiction. I'm not entirely sure what this one is about anymore, but I remember it being intrigued by the premise when I read it. Like when I bought it, I should say. I haven't read it yet. But it's like about spies in like the Cold War setting. So I'm always intrigued by those kind of settings, which is why I wanted to read it. And it's just time for me to get stuck into it and see if I actually like it. And then we also have this guy, The Toymakers by Robert Dinsdale. Not a book I've heard a great deal about. Like nobody talks about this really. But it's about like set around the Great War. So the First World War, that is. And the Emporium sells toys, but there is a magical element to this as well. Again, like this is described on the back as a toy shop on Diagon Alley. A dark, enchanting novel for fans of the Night Circus and the Miniaturist. And those are books I both enjoyed. So I was like, I think I might like this, but I don't know anything about it. I think I picked these up at the same time, actually. I got them from the Waterstones in Amsterdam around COVID times, like when the store started to open again. So yeah, I'm not sure. Sort of like dark historical setting and like a magical toy shop. That's what it sounds like. Not sure if that's what it's giving, but I think I do want to get into something that's a little bit more like historical fiction as well this spring. And finally, another book, bought in the fall time, haven't read it yet. This one I picked up when I was in Edinburgh, just like the Sally Rooney book. This is Richard Osman's newest novel, We Solve Murders. So he has put a pause on the Thursday Murder Club for now. That's been turned into a TV show, I believe. And now we are getting a new spin-off series. Well, it's not a spin-off, it's just a new series by the same author. I think it's about like a dad and his daughter who are solving crimes. I don't know. If it has the same sort of whimsical effect that the Thursday Murder Club had, I know I'm going to enjoy this. So Richard Osman is also on the to like TBR pile for spring for me. Not sure I'm going to get to this one. This may be something I'm going to leave until the fall time, to be quite honest. But I think it's good to have a couple of fun options that I could choose from. Like I said, I'm still in the midst of that one book, and until I finish that, which may be feasible to do it this week, because one of the reasons why I haven't finished that book yet is also because I've been doing so many things. Like, I've been going places. I had birthday parties to go to. I went to see friends, and I've done a lot of really fun, cool things. But I think this weekend, and for many weekends after that to come, it's going to be the first weekend in weeks where I will have the entire weekend to myself, and I won't have anything going on. Like, there are no dance parties going on. Well, there is a dance party on Saturday night I can go to if I want to, but since the last time I went to a dance party, my body didn't like it all that much, so I don't think I'll be going. So I think I'm just gonna, because it's gonna be lovely weather. Do you see that sunshine? We're having 2 weeks of glorious weather in the Netherlands currently. So the weather predictions are really, really good. So I may just want to also just go for a stroll and like sit somewhere with a book and read. That may also be something I do. So yeah, I think this is going to be the first weekend actually in weeks where I have time to just like sit down and read. Oh well. So yeah, thank you so very much for watching this video today. I hope that this little TBR for spring inspires you to create your own TBR for spring. Let me know in a comment down below what you're currently reading. I would love to know, because that always inspires me to know what my next read is going to be. And yeah, I hope I can sort of get back into the swing of things and read some more books for you very, very soon. I still want to do a wrap up. I did finish one audiobook in February, but I'm currently not even like listening to an audiobook. Just there's no headspace. I actually started a podcast because I couldn't. So, oh well. But I'll update you with that once I have a wrap up, which I hope, fingers crossed, I can do before the end of the month. So that's my prayer. That's my little hope. Like, fingers crossed, I can do a wrap up before the end of this month. So thank you so very much for joining me here today. And then I hope to see you again very, very soon with a new video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.